Good evening, everybody. This is Rabbi Karen, and we're here for our Monday night Ma'ariv service. I thank you for joining me. I'm covering today for Rabbi Deborah. I am honored to help her whenever she needs, as she always is there for me. So thank you for joining us this evening, and we're going to begin our Monday Ma'ariv service. Hine matovu manayim, shevet achim gam yachad. Hine matovu manayim, shevet achim gam yachad. Hine matov, shevet achim gam yachad. Hine matov, shevet achim gam yachad. And now our call to praise. Baruch hu et Adonai hamavorach. Baruch Adonai hamavorach le'olam va'ed. Praise Adonai, to whom our praise is due forever. Praise be Adonai, to whom our praise is due, now and forever. Ha'ma'ariv aravim. I love this time of day. Although right here in Florida, it's still very sunny, but that we're reminded with the sunrise and the sunset that these are the miracles that Adonai created to separate light from dark and dark from light. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bivaro ma'ariv aravim, b'chokhmah potech sha'arim, u'vitvuna mishaneh tim u'machalif et hazmanim, with wisdom you open gateways, with understanding you alter times, vary the seasons, and assign the stars to the watches in the sky. Creator of day and night, who rolls light away from darkness and darkness from light, and you cause day to pass and bring about night, distinguishing between day and night. Source of all forces is your name. O living and ever-enduring God, reign over us forever and ever. Blessed are you, Eternal One, who brings on twilight. Everlasting love you offer your people Israel by teaching us Torah and mitzvot, laws and precepts. Therefore, Adonai our God, when we lie down and when we rise up, we will meditate on your laws and your commandments. We will rejoice in your Torah forever. Day and night, we will reflect on them, for they are our life, and doing them lengthens our days. Never remove your love from us. Praise are you, Adonai, who loves your people Israel. Baruch atah Adonai, Ohev Amo Yisrael. And now the prayer that is our creed, a prayer that doesn't ask favors, but a prayer that states what is in our hearts. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Hear, O Israel, the Lord our God, the Lord is one. Baruch Shem Kivod Malchuto Leolam Va'ed. Blessed be the name of his glorious kingdom, forever and ever. And you shall love. And you shall love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, and with all your might. And all these words which I command you on this day shall be in your heart, and you shall teach them diligently to your children. And you shall speak of them when you sit in your house, when you walk by the way, when you rise up, and when you lie down. And you shall bind them for a sign upon your hand, and they shall be for frontlets between your eyes. And you shall write them on the doorposts of your house and upon your gates, that you may remember and do all of my commandments, and be holy, holy unto your God. Now let's take a little pause. Let's say hi to everybody. Barbara and Mark, Toby, Rabbi Elias, Marvin, Rudolph, Joanne, Reba, Ian, and Sue. So welcome, everybody. I'm glad to see you all. Let's see who we have on Restream. We have Brian from Canton, Ohio. Welcome, Brian. I'm glad you can join us. Rabbi Elias, you look like you want to say something. Oh, okay. All right, excellent. Okay, and Sephora's about to come in too, so we'll say hello to her. So welcome, everybody. I'm so glad that you are with us this evening. iPhone Joanne, did you ever reach out to Carol about the education class?
Sorry, it took me a minute to unmute. I have not.
Okay.
I have not, but I will.
Okay, that's great, because Toby's waiting to hear.
Okay.
He wants to be in the class too. Okay, let's get back to our. And speaking of miracles, and tonight's Parsha is all about Miriam. As Miriam and the children, as the women went through the parting of the Red Sea, another miracle from Adonai. They sang, Micha mocha balim Adonai, Mika mocha nedar b'kodesh, Nora tehilot oseh feleh. Malchutecha ra'u beinecha, bokeh hayam, lifnei Moshe u'Miriam. Ze Eli anu ve'amru, Adonai yimloch li'olam va'ed. Thus it is said, Adonai redeemed Jacob from a hand stronger than his own. Praised are you, Adonai, for redeeming Israel. Baruch atah Adonai, Ga'al Yisrael. Hashivenu Adonai Eloheinu l'shalom, v'acha mireinu malkeinu l'chaim, ufrosh aleinu sukat shalomecha. Adonai, bless us as we are living in troubled times. Watch out over us, protect us, guard us. May we continue to be a light amongst all nations. You are protecting and saving power. Shield us and remove from our path hostility, disease, war, famine, sorrow. Shelter us in the shadow of your wings. Truly a sovereign power, gracious and compassionate are you. Guard our going and our coming in life and in peace now and all eternity. Spread us over your shelter of peace. Baruch atah Adonai, haporeh sukat shalom aleinu v'al kol amo Yisrael, v'al Yerushalayim. Blessed are you, Eternal One, who spread your shelter of peace over us, over all your people Israel, and over Jerusalem. Yitkada v'yitkada shemei rabbah, v'yalma divrach hirutei v'yamlich mahutei, v'chayechon uv'yo umechon uchaye d'chol beit Yisrael. Bagala, bagala, ubizman kariv, v'yimaru, amen. By the way, just to let you know, when I made these slides, I did it with the transliteration. So if you can't read Hebrew, you can read the transliteration. You can recite it in English. I want you to participate. As my rabbi once said, I'm not a solo act. We should all participate. So I know some of my congregants here participate, but I want you to also. Yesh me rabo mevorach li'olam li'ol me'al maya yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yibar v'yiroman v'yinaseh v'yitadar v'yitale v'yitala shemei kudusha b'richu Leilam b'kol bechata v'shirata tush bechata v'nechemata damiram b'alma v'yimaru amen. I also tried to put in as much English as I could, because if you've gone to services for most of your life, you know the prayers. You know them by heart. You have no idea what they mean. So every once in a while, it's good to look at the English to understand what we're thinking, what we're praying about. When I teach this to the kids, because I'm a Hebrew school teacher, I always go over the English. What does it mean? What does it mean to them? What does it mean to us as Jews? Sometimes we rewrite the prayer to put it in more modern English. So it's there for you to look at, not just repeat what you've heard over and over for many, many years. And now I made this a shortened version because we're going to go into our Torah portion for tonight. Parsha Chukat. Rabbi Maurice Harris stated, Chukat starts with a description of the priestly ritual that the Israelites are to follow whenever they come into contact with a corpse. What do we know about corpses today as modern Jews? You can unmute yourselves, just speak out. Anybody know anything about it?
I know that they're supposed to be like wrapped in like a garment, and there's like a mourning period.
Okay, very good. Anyone else? There is a society that will watch the body overnight. So there are volunteers that will do this to, I don't know the significance of it. Rabbi Elias, do you know?
I think it's so that you can make sure the body isn't defiled.
That's what I remember, yeah.
And also because theoretically the body's supposed to go into the ground as fast as possible, and not to be left alone before it's in the ground. So the Hever Kadisha is part of making that happen.
Okay, I'm looking at what Sue wrote. The English is also good for those who may visit on YouTube or Facebook who do not know any Hebrew and may know and not know anything about Judaism. Then Sue, they're supposed to take my class. I'll teach them. Okay. Also, if you are Kohen, anybody know about the Kohen and a corpse?
They're not supposed to be around deceased bodies.
Yeah. There's a cemetery here.
That's not
Go
understanding.
ahead.
Yeah, Kohen isn't supposed to go to a cemetery except for his own family, I think it is.
I believe there's only certain members of the family too. I was at a funeral and it was a Hasidic rabbi, but they made it so that the rabbi goes on the other side of, like, it's a little roadway between the two sections. So the rabbi could be on the other side, and they had a microphone so that he could recite the service from the other side of the road. So not to be nearby. So very interesting, some of these rules. Then the Torah portion jumps forward 38 years in time, leaving us to wonder what happened to Moses, Aaron, Miriam, and the Israelites during all those long years in the desert. And the story resumes. We read about the death of the prophet, Miriam. The more things change, the more they stay the same. Once Miriam had passed, what was Miriam known for besides going through the parting of the Red Sea?
Moses' wife.
No, that was his sister.
Oh,
Anybody know what? For bringing the sweet water. Bringing the sweet water. Once she passed, the crying and whining of the Israelites began. Fear of no water, returning to Egypt to survive, is filled in the camp. This is not the first time Moses lost his temper with the impatient, complaining multitudes. The children of Israel were punished. They, except a few, would not be permitted to enter the land of Israel. You ever reach a point with your own kids? They go on and on and on and on, and you just, well, that's what happened. Point was reached, and they said, you're not entering the land because you're very weak. You're not strong. You're not worthy of the new nation. Between the calf, remember the golden calf? That was the big start of this complaint. Moses took them into the desert, no food, no water. So everywhere they go, I always think of Edward G. Robinson. Anybody know why I think of Edward G. Robinson? Remember the movie The Ten Commandments?
played Moses.
He played Dathan. And Dathan was always the one that was saying, let's go back. He's leading us into the desert. We're going to die in the desert without food and water. Let's go back. He's the one that wanted to build the golden calf. And so the children of Israel, that's what they were. They were children mentally. And they were easily led into this whining and complaining. Moses first has destroyed the tablets, having witnessed the golden calf, and even now. Moses was commanded to speak to the rock to bring forth water. Elias, Rabbi? Okay. In his anger and impatience, he struck the rock twice. His punishment, he and Aaron would both not enter the land of Israel. So do you ever wonder why Moses never was allowed in? Because he disobeyed Adonai more than once. So what is this parsha about? We are being shown that those who have doubt and fear, not once, not twice, but so many times, will not win. The children of Israel needed to enter the land as a strong people, have faith in Adonai and in themselves. Moses losing his temper more than once, it gets the best of him. I mean, he's only just begun, really, on what he's going to be doing for 38 years in the desert. He and his brother are punished. Was that fair? Was that fair that they were not allowed into the land of Israel? Is Adonai ever not fair? No thoughts? I see a lot of heads moving up and down, but I don't hear any thoughts. Did Moses deserve that punishment?
I'm not so sure because at our tour study yesterday, Hashem just opened the earth and swallowed up a whole bunch of people. And Moses lost his temper and hit a rock.
Mm-hmm.
Whoopee.
He also threw the tablets when he saw the
No.
golden calf.
Yeah, he did that too.
So was his punishment a little too strong?
I think so, but that's just me.
But you're allowed to think that. So Adonai was wrong.
I don't know. Well, God didn't ask me.
Remember, we have a history of our forefathers arguing with Adonai to convince Adonai to change his mind. So we have a history of that, all right? So, or we say, well, Adonai had a reason for it.
So,
Let me see.
I think there's a reason for everything.
Well, it's up to us to find out what is that reason.
Yeah.
That's what Torah study is about. What is that reason? Okay, Reba understands why Moses lost his temper. But, Reba, the question for you is, was that punishment justified? Greater minds than ours will be figuring this out.
I think
Go ahead.
it was the original tough love. In my mind, that's what I'm thinking.
Tough love from Adonai to Moses, or tough love
Yes,
from Moses
yes.
to the children of Israel?
From Adonai to Moses,
Okay.
by not allowing him to go in.
I also think it was from Adonai and Moses to the children of Israel.
Yes.
I warned you once, twice, 3 times. Now, yeah. You don't pick up your toys. Now I'm going to take your toys away from you.
Right.
Oops, I did that. I did that when my son was 3.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. It's a form of tough love. That's I like that. I don't know if I agree with it, but I like it. It's a very creative answer.
But I think at this point, at Moses's age and everything, I think he and Aaron, they probably fulfilled their portion And when the people were going to go into the new, they were going to go in with some new leadership. They didn't want to have to depend on Moses to, in a sense, maybe they're growing up and now they're going to go off on their own. And maybe in a way, Moses is, saying, hey, you've done enough, we're going to retire you now. What is he, in his 80s? I mean, hey.
I know, but I mean, come on, look at
Oh.
Abraham was how old? How many hundreds of years old? Sarah gave birth at 99. I mean, old age was it depended where you were at the time.
I guess, I suppose.
But Moses
I
had a lot.
sometimes feel like I'm 80 and I'm not.
Now, Reed was saying it was a coincidence that he died before entering the promised land, or was that God's plan? Coincidence? I was taught that he could see the promised land from the top of the mountain, and then he died. So was that coincidence, or is that part of the bigger plan?
Part of the bigger plan, I think.
In other words, there's no coincidences.
I don't think there is such thing as coincidence.
Okay, that's interesting. We have a lot of thoughts here. Okay, let's get back to services. So if everybody can mute themselves, please. You know what I didn't do? I was very wrong. Hold on. Let me close this. I never opened up the restream. Okay, Ellen Rose is there. Andy. Okay, let me see. Corpse equals defile, the physical remains of an animal. Okay. Kohen could not go to funeral. Moses didn't honor Hashem. It was difficult for Moses to accept. It was probably part of the bigger plan. Okay, that was my bad. I forgot to go back to restream. So I did read all your comments and I thank you. Okay, let's go back to. So let's take a few moments to listen to the prayers in our hearts and in our minds. Say shalom b'mrumav, uyase shalom aleinu, ve'akol Yisrael, v'imru, amen. Say shalom b'mrumav, uyase shalom aleinu, ve'akol Yisrael, V'imru, amen. And now as we prepare our prayer for the healing, please type in names of those who need our healing thoughts and prayers. And I'm going to start with Sid and Joyce, Katie and Luna, Boomer, Chris, Robin, Lisa's daughter, Ronnie, Seal's daughter, Rabbi Allison's daughter, Miriam Bat Shulamit, Carrie, daughter of Bonnie, Leslie, Mindalea, Bat Chaya, Maxine, Marcia, Marlene, Bat Sylvia, Bobby, George, Stu, David, Cantor, Ovadia, Samantha, Judy, and Steve. All those suffering physically, emotionally, and those suffering spiritually. Okay. Marlene, Dorothy, Marlene, Bill, Robert, Jean, David, Granny, Franny, all those suffering from PTSD, Tom, Paul, Mark, Atoile, Erica, Ellen D, and all of the cancer patients, Jacques, Ziona, Tucson Jim. Oh, Tucson Jim is sick. I'll have to text him. Bon Muncie, David Newsom, Deborah Adore, John Hall, Dave Hall, Peggy, Annie, Ellen Friedman, Andy Sapora, Granny Franny, Brady's dad, Al and Tracy. Okay. I'll find out what's wrong. Anybody know what's wrong with Tucson Jim? I could state it. I'll give him a text. Marvin, you're going to unmute yourself so you could recite for us. Toby, Andrea, Bat Marsha, Kurt, Ben, Norma, Roland, Ben, Margaret, Arlene, Bat, Octavia, all Sim Shalomers in need of refuah shlema. McDonald, Ben, Bill, Ben, Ann, Rivka, Bat, Zivia, and B, Bat, Etta. Marvin, you want to go?
Mike Ruba, Dawn Allnut, Christina Allnut, Nelson Raspoldo.
Thank you. And Rabbi Elias says he's recovering from surgery. So we'll send a big shout out to Tucson Jim. I will give him a text after this service. Mishe Beirach Avotenu Mechol Habraha Limotenu. May the source of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say Amen. Mishe Beirach Imotenu Mechol Habraha Liavotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, renewal of spirit, and let us say Amen. Aleinu l'shabeach Adon hakol, latet gedula liotze breshit, shelo asanu kikoye haratzot, v'lo samanu kimishpachot hadama, shelo sam helkenu kahem, v'gor aleinu kihol hamanam, v'anachnu korim, u'mishtachavim u'modim, lifnei melech, Malchei Hamlochim, Akadosh Baruch Hu. V'ne'eman haya Adonai, L'melech al kol haaretz, Bayom hahu, Yeh Adonai echad, Ushmo echad. We recall the loved ones whom death has recently taken from us, those who died at this season in years past, and those whom we have taken into our hearts with our own. The memories of all of them are with us. Our griefs and sympathies are mingled as we praise Adonai and pray for the coming of Adonai's kingdom. Yikadal v'yikadash shemei rabbah, v'yamad divrach hirutei, v'yamlich malhutei, v'chayehon uv'yumehon, Uvchaye dechol Beit Yisrael, Bagalav Zman Kari V'Yimru, Amen. Yehi Shmei Rabba Mevorach Li'olam Al Mei Amaya, Yitbarach V'Yishtabach V'Yipar V'Yiroman V'Yitnaseh, V'Yitadar V'Yitalei V'Yitalav, Shemei D'Kudusha B'Richu, Le'en Lam Min Chol Bichata V'Shirata, Tushbachata V'Nechamota, Damiram V'Yalma V'Yimru, Amen. Yehi Shlama Rabba Min Shemaya, V'chayim aleinu v'yal kol Yisrael v'yimru amen. Oseh shalom b'rumav, hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu v'yal kol Yisrael v'yimru amen. And may all those who are in mourning be comforted by the one who comforts all. Well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for being with us this evening, and just be safe. I hear the weather is like really crazy. There's lots of storms all over the place. Down here in Florida, every day, huge lightning, thunderstorms, and high heat. You walk outside, that humidity is 98%. You're walking into a wall of water. And there's storms up and down the East Coast. The South has record heat. Bottom line, everyone, be safe. Take care, be safe, be well, and I'll see you tomorrow. God willing, I'll see you all tomorrow. Take care, everybody. Good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night. תודה רבה.